Hello there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do something in Lightburn on a fiber laser, how to do something that is bleach engraving. Now, if you look at this stormtrooper head on the top there, you might think, oh, that's just bleach engraving. Oh, it looks like there's kind of a little square there. And oh, you hit the light on it just right. Oh, you see that it's sort of wow, 3D kind of look. And then there's just the bleach one right below it, but it doesn't pop out or stand out as much. Now, the reason I'm covering part of this with my hand is because I have here shown what I did here today and what I'm going to show you now. Usually the point of these kinds of things is like, hey, here's the thing I'm making here at the end. Well, I've already filmed all this, except all the footage was useless because my microphone was off the entire time. So let's go at it again. Why not? All right, in order to do what I am doing here, I have a fiber laser, which is a 50 watt JPT from Eon Laser USA, and the software that I am using today is called Lightburn. Lightburn is beautiful software. It is just, I love it so much. So this is the end result that we are looking for here in this tutorial. I'm just going to cruise by this really quickly, just to give you all the main information of what you need to know and how to do it. So bringing in my list of shame here. So bring in the image that we are using for our, wow, I did not mean that to be a monocle, but that looks kind of awesome. So I just clicked and dragged an image right into my Lightburn scene here, and whatever maximum size this is, do not make it bigger. Go ahead and make it smaller, but don't make it bigger. So I'm going to scale it down to something more manageable. I'm not going to redo the engraving because I've already done that and I've already filmed it. So yeah. So here's how we get the various elements here, because we actually have two images here on top of each other. Whoops. So I'm going to show the whole different processes. This is going to do something called 3D slicing, and also something that I just call bleaching, because that's how we get this white look on the slate, which normally is the color that you would give the engraving, but specifically this is a color that is going to stay even after you apply something like mineral oil to the engraving. Okay, so here's how we prep the image. So you want to make sure you have an image that's a depth map. So it's light in top areas and dark on the bottom areas. Think of this like 3D printing, where you're just building up layer by layer, but instead of printing up, you're engraving down. So you're removing layer by layer. So whatever is black in the background, that will be the deepest engraving, and whatever is white on the top will be what the laser tries to leave alone to move on to the next darkest shade of gray until it gets to full black. That is how 3D slicing is going to work. Now, the way that we want to set this up is we get here a circle. I'm going to assign this a T1 layer. It's just a frame. It's just a reference tool. It doesn't have any actual data to engrave anything. It is just there for reference. But what it is also really good for is masking. So I'm just going to put a circle around this main area of the image. I'm also going to duplicate the image. Reasons will be forthcoming, and I will shift click the circle so that we have, well, here, I'll just move that out of the way. I'll select both, go to tools, apply mask to image. So now we've applied a circle to the actual image itself. Now, taking this again, I'm going to snap it, actually, yes, I'm going to just snap it back onto the original image. So this one is just right on top. But I want to isolate out all of this white area. Now the way I'm going to do that is right click, trace image. And this already has the main areas of white that I want to isolate, but I could turn down the threshold a bit more to get more white area, but the more I do that, the more spotty it gets. So I want to be more artistic with this a little bit, so I'll grab some of the spottiness, but I want mainly the white area. So I'll say, cool, I like that, let's go with that. That makes me happy. So now what it's given me is a T1 layer of this frame job here. Now I don't necessarily want the square. So the way that I'm going to get those isolated is doing something. And I have a child over here who's... What? Oh my heck. My son just put toothpaste all over his pet dinosaur. Please hold. Today's video is brought to you by parental stress. And sometimes it dominates your entire morning. It is okay to cry and laugh about it. Let's get back to the video, shall we? Oh yes, we were right here at the place I was going to remove. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm ungrouping that T1 layer stuff, removing that outside border. I don't need it, don't want it. I just want this inside stuff that will give me an isolated view of all the white engraving. But instead of grouping that, I need to weld it together, and this will be distinction. For some reason, Lightburn doesn't like grouping stuff when you want to apply a mask. You need to weld it. I honestly will ask about that, but if you're having issues with that, then that might be the thing. Anyways, once you've welded your isolated mask stuff, select your main image, tools, apply mask to image, bam, and now we will place it right on top of what we already got going on here. All right, I am going to take a nap probably, but this is the end result that we're wanting. We've isolated these two images, and that is how the setup goes. Now, as far as this inside image, which is going to be our bleach, that is going to be the area that is actually white. And the round image behind it is going to be what is 3D sliced. So here is how you set that up. I'm going to move these out of the way so you know which one I am working on. So this one right here, I've set to one color image, this number 10. And this other one I've selected as number 11. I think that is what I've done in this case. This is the image selected. Yes. Okay, so it thought I was doing something else. Okay. So the thing that we're going to be 3D slicing, I have set to one color. The thing we're bleaching, I have set to another color, because these are going to be two different processes. Now, the reason why we have two of them is because we want to do something called 3D slicing to this main large image. This is the image that we're going to be using, and remember, we want the highest point to be the thing that is the highest point in our engraving, and black is the deepest point. So the way we set that up is we have image mode selected, 3D sliced. That's right here in the image modes. It only exists in, I think, the Galvo version of Lightburn when you have fiber lasering. I don't think this exists with CO2 lasers. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because this is a really cool feature. It's kind of like grayscale. It works sort of the same way, but this one, it actually requires multiple passes, because it'll be engraving the whitest area first, and then the next shade down from gray until it gets all the way down to full black. So that's why we want multiple passes on this one. Now the DPI, somewhere between 350 and 400 is fine. We're working on slate, so this won't be as critical to get such clean engravings. But 800 speed, 45% power, I have a 50 watt fiber I'm using here, and 25% on the frequency. So all we're looking for is carving into this material. We're not looking for color at this point. So what this will look like in the preview window, and I need to bring it over. Gotta select both. Got to be consistent. Okay, so we got both pulled here. I have my main file that works right here, but this is the one that I'm teaching with at the moment. So what this will look like in the preview window, let's turn off invert. Let's keep the red on because that shows a little better what's going on, because it shows the travel lines. But this one would take 11 minutes, thereabouts. But this is going layer by layer, making a deeper and deeper engraving. Everything that is black here is where it's getting engraved. Wherever it's red, or in this case white, is being left alone. So the farther it gets, the deeper it gets, the more that this engraving will stand out. But now this is not yet bleached. So that is where this one will come in. And so we're going to carefully place it right on top. It kind of just snaps right in place. It just kind of does that. So now this one is bleached. So the settings for that, we want low power, low speed, and high frequency in order to achieve a bleach look. So it's not necessarily removing material. In fact, I could probably turn that down a little bit and it would still be okay, as far as the power goes, and just keep the frequency high. All we're looking for is coloring the surface. So this is the setting that I have for bleaching. I use Jarvis mode as my image. I go for a high DPI because this is where I want details to really stand out and for the shading to especially come into play. Because the way that this one will look when I engrave it, it'll be just hitting dinosaur noises. Toddlers. They're everywhere. So what's happening here is I have just all of the white in this case, or black, whichever way you want to invert it. Everything that's white here is going to be bleached. And whatever's black is nothing's happening because I have this inverted. That is an important thing to note. Here in my 3D slice settings, negative image is turned off because I want what is black to be my deepest engraving. What I want white, I want it to pull back. But in the case of bleaching, I'm reversing that. I want whatever is white to be the thing that is engraved. And everything that gets progressively darker to get ignored. So I have negative image turned on. So that just reverses the polarity of that. And now I'm going to show the footage of the thing happening. It only took, I don't know, let's grab this. How much time did this take? Traversal moves. This took, roughly 8 minutes. This is a little generous in its estimation, but I have it fast forwarded. So let's see what that looks like. Okay. I'll include right here some of the quick snapshots because when I was cleaning up this engraving, I did not realize my time lapse was also running. So all of my footage of my toddler in the background, cleaning his plate at the sink and me actually showing, the washed off, things, that all got lost. And, that happens sometimes, and we just have to accept that sometimes our really good best work gets ruined and we have to redo it. It happens. So this is the result that resulted. So you can see there are still raised areas of the skull. It still looks from all angles to be a 3D image, and especially that bleached area. So like here on this stormtrooper, you see, oh yeah, okay, that looks like a helmet, and it's got some depth to it. But this image here, where it's just right onto the slate, some of that detail does get lost. And that's a shame, which is why I really like employing these two methods. And the dinosaur is eating asparagus. Dinosaurs. One note also to take into account when you're setting up this job. Cut layers right here. When you do your optimization, optimized cut path, you're ordering it by layer and priority. Make sure you're having your 3D sliced process first and your bleached effect after that. Because if you do the bleached part first, then you're going to be completely removing it when you do all the 3D slice stuff. So do your depth engraving first, do the bleached on top of it, and then you'll get your intended result. I need a nap because sometimes being a parent is taxing. Anyways, okay. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate, likes and shares and subscribing and everything like that. I try to put out these videos to show how these machines work and how they, can make really cool results. I mean, these can make wonderful gifts for people, and 'tis the season. There are always birthdays and anniversaries and special occasions. Why wouldn't you want a flaming skull with fire wrapped around it to give to your loved one on the day of their daughter's wedding? I don't know, but I also need to get my kid to school, so I'm going to get going now. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye. Dude, no. Don't play dinosaurs near the laser. It's probably how the dinosaurs went extinct.
That's right.
Tell me I'm wrong.